Hi friends, I am back with your lesson continued from last week on Night of the Spadefoot Toads. And if you can remember from Friday, we finished chapter 18, which means we finished the book. And so today I am going to recap what I actually identified for my theme of Night of the Spadefoot Toads. And I'm going to model today showing you what good writing looks like, proving it with 3 pieces of evidence, using some good transitional words. So when we put this into a large paragraph, it all blends and makes great sense. So when we ended with Night of the Spadefoot Toads on Friday, I determined and I chose the theme of change can be hard, but with time you may learn to love it. And as we saw, it was really challenging for Ben to adapt to this new place. We could have put adapting to a new place can be hard, but with time you may learn to love it. So I could have changed a little bit of how I changed my theme. We don't have to use the same words always. And we also have to remember that a book can have more than one theme. So even though this might have not been your theme that you would have chosen, or you would have said it differently, doesn't mean that you also couldn't prove another theme from Night of the Spadefoot Toads. So today I'm going to go ahead and model my first piece of evidence that I'm going to pull from the beginning of the just the beginning chapter, but the beginning of the book. And I'm going to summarize it together to show how I can prove that Ben was having a hard time adapting to change, and that change was hard for him. Through the rest of my events, I'm also going to show how it was hard to change, but eventually he did learn to love Massachusetts, and he forgot about Tucson, Arizona. So how I'm going to start off my very first piece of evidence, I'm going to go ahead and use what good writing looks like. So I'm going to write my first piece of evidence that supports my theme. So my first piece of evidence that supports my theme okay. So the first thing I did, I started off with my first. That's a good transition when I would indent into my first piece of evidence. So my first piece of evidence that supports, after rereading, I got to put the S, my theme is at the beginning of the story, Ben struggles to make friends, period. Remember, he also isn't interested in making any friends at the beginning of the story, which is also showing why change is hard, because he has his friend Toby and he kind of thinks, maybe I'll get to move back. So I'm going to go ahead and write of the story, Ben struggles to make friends. He still has his friend Toby in Arizona. Notice I'm capitalizing Toby and Arizona because they're proper nouns. He still has his friend Toby in Arizona, so Ben is not interested in making friends. Okay. This evidence shows the theme that change can be hard. And right now, he's not necessarily showing that he's learning to love it, but we do know over time he starts to show feelings of loving it that we can put in our other 2 pieces of evidence. So I'm going to go ahead and reread what I have so far. My first piece of evidence that supports my theme is at the beginning of the story, Ben struggles to make friends. He still has his friend Toby in Arizona, so Ben is not interested in making friends. This shows, because I want to wrap up my evidence, this shows that change can be hard moving to a new place, period, at the end. When I write my second piece of evidence, I'm going to put my second piece of evidence that supports my theme is, and I'm going to fill that one out tomorrow. And then I'm going to end with another great transitional word. The last piece of evidence that supports my theme is, and then I'm going to fill in my last piece of evidence. So knowing my theme is change can be hard, but with time you may learn to love it. As we saw Ben show us that throughout the story, but it took him a long time, almost towards the very end, to show that he loved it. So really focusing on that, just change can be hard. And Ben showed us that. So my first piece of evidence that I pulled from the beginning of the story, even though this went on throughout the middle as well, but then it got better, Ben made friends. So my first piece of evidence that supports my theme is at the beginning of the story, Ben struggles to make friends. He still has his friend Toby in Arizona, so Ben is not interested in making friends. He doesn't want to make any new friends. This shows that change can be hard moving to a new place, which supports my theme, change can be hard. Throughout my next two pieces of evidence, I'm going to show how it's hard still, but how Ben is making some changes to learn to love Arizona. So here's what you're going to do after you finish watching this video. You're going to read the text that I have linked for you today. You're going to read it and you're going to fill out this exact organizer, but you're going to fill out it with a different title of the story that you're going to read. And then you're going to go ahead and write what you think the theme is of the story. And then you're going to prove one piece of evidence after going back in the text and looking, because that's what we do as readers. We go back in the text and we make sure we preview and reread to find those pieces of evidence. And then we summarize it and we put it right in our graphic organizer, just like I modeled. So step one, you're going to read and then you're going to put your title down. And while you read, you're going to be thinking, what is the theme of this story that Miss Pierce uploaded to our remote plan? You're going to go ahead and put your theme down, and then you're going to go ahead and write your first piece of evidence that came at the beginning of the story to prove your theme. If you would like to get your transitions for evidence 2 and evidence 3 down, you may do that, but you're going to finish this on Tuesday, and you're going to be submitting me a picture of your steps. So I can evaluate how well you're doing by identifying theme in a story and proving it with evidence from the text. Keep in mind, as you read today, to determine theme, you have to follow the character and their actions, if they made changes in the events that take place. So really study that today, and you may have to reread the piece more than once. Nice job today, and I'm really excited to see your piece today and what you're going to turn into me. So make sure you follow those next steps. See you soon.